Good morning. I'll take it. I can use another one.
Hey, Kim, dear. Oh, there she is. I was just sending a message for you. Where's your coffee?
One or two boxes a day.
Good up, Ego. I'm here. I'll be in the room.
Shabbat shalom, y'all. Let's take our seats.
I sing for you. I sing for what is holy and is true. I sing for all creation, for life and liberation. Every day anew.
Shabbat shalom. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha. Happy are those who dwell in your house. Happy are those who get to come together and celebrate Shabbat. Happy are those who get to come together to witness Susan's Mitzvah. We continue with Matovu, how good and how incredible it is that we're here as a Jewish community to witness a moment, a rite of passage, an affirming accomplishment of one of our members. Page 141. It's time for Susan to receive her talit, which will be presented by her brothers Marshall and Sheldon. Among the many people who are here to celebrate, Susan, will you walk around? And Sheldon, I understand you're gonna say something.
Sure.
Let me get this choreography right here. Okay, so. Marshall, go stand. Okay. I think this is.
Okay.
As long as you're happy, Yes. I didn't know I would speak, so I was at work. Do you happen to know where you were 14,610 days ago? Which is exactly 40 years ago today. I actually know where I was this very moment 40 years ago. Susan's first bat mitzvah was May 14th, 1982. 83. You want to sit down? Let's move forward. You might wonder why I know that. Susan, we have a little gift for you.
Oh.
This is the announcement of Susan's first bat mitzvah. Synagogue director. It has become important for Susan to have another bat mitzvah. The talit, or the prayer shawl, was to remind the Jews of the commandment of the Torah. How do the fringes of the talit remind one of the commandments? The Jews searched for a logical correlation between the talit and the commandments and found it interesting connection. The numerical value of the word talit, or fringes, is 600. Each of the fringes contains 8 threads and 5 knots, making 613. The number corresponds to 613 commandments contained in the Torah. Marshall and I are pleased to represent our family bestowing this new talis on her today. Susan, we hope you have many happy occasions to wear.
Thank you.
This is right.
Sorry.
Jackie, could you bring us a seat to work, please? Thank you, Brad.
You're welcome.
Okay. We're gonna offer some more blessings of gratitude this morning, page 153. We're only going to use the beginning of the blessing that's in the prayer book because really what we want to do is locate our own gratitude. So take a moment before we start and just think about something you're grateful for this morning. So Susan and I are going to start the blessing, which will start like this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. And then someone's going to say something they're grateful for friends and family, and we say Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. 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 Say it again.
A cool spring morning.
A cool spring morning. Amen. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolamim. Amen. Being in community. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolamim.
Friends.
Amen. For friends. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolamim.
Vaccinations.
Amen. Vaccinations. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolamim. Amen. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolamim. All of Susan's guests and friends and family. Amen. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolamim. We give thanks for all the things we've named and all of the things that we thought about saying, but we weren't quite sure we wanted to open our mouths, and all the things that we're not even yet aware of, that are blessings, and we say, Amen. Whew. Take a deep breath. That's especially for you, take a deep breath. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorah. God, the soul, the breath that's within me is yours. It's a gift. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorah. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorah. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorah. We continue with more verses of song, Baruch She'amar, page 177.
We sing this today as a three-part round. Please feel free to join in any of the parts. First one's probably the easiest.
Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, 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 Baruch Shemo, Baruch Hu,
Page 209, the Psalm for the Shabbos day. We begins with the words Tov v'hodot l'Adonai. It's good to give thanks to God. So some of our psalms of praise are ancient and some are more contemporary. This one comes from our own Bill Robertson's Brilliance, Beauty. That's the name.
So I wrote this as a bit of a campfire song to enjoy the beauty that's around us and take stock of what we really need. So Susan, thank you for asking me to bring this today. Feel free to join along once you go. Everywhere there is beauty, and I see beauty. Everywhere that I go, lift me up from despair, come and soothe me, reach right through me, hold me harder than I've ever known. Everywhere there is beauty, I see beauty. Everywhere that I go, lift me up from despair, come and soothe me, reach right through me, hold me harder than I've ever known. It seems like the cost of life is so much higher than what we had saved. A sea of frost and ice is trying to bury us under its waves. Just look around. Why is it that you're so afraid? Everywhere there is beauty, and I see beauty. Everywhere that I go, lift me up from despair, come and soothe me, reach right through me, hold me harder than I've ever known. A few dozen years to hang around and take things past where they were when we came. Some fly away, some run aground, some spin in circles, but it's all the same. I'd rather walk. Will you help me find flowers on the way? From despair, come and soothe me, reach right through me,
great hallelujah, Psalm 150, the last psalm in the book of Psalms, page 231, we're going to say, hallelujah, kol haneshama hallelujah, let everything that breathes praise God.
Please join in this one.
With all of that praise and beauty hanging in the air and in our hearts, we move into the Shacharit morning service, Chatzi Kaddish, page 245. Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbav, Yamad yivrak yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechonu v'yomechon, v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, Agalav bisman karif yimeru. Yehei shemei Rabba mevorach ve'olam me'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudashah ve'yihu. Ne'elam kodechata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imeru. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing on page 246 and 247 as we bless and bark. As
We bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our visions clear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed.
Barechu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer oru borei choshech oseh shalom uborei et hatov. Please be seated. Ahava Rabbah, great love, page 273. We call to mind the great love that we felt in our lives, the love that's in this room, the love that surrounds us from God all the time. Page 273, Ahava Rabbah. Light up our eyes in Torah. And all of us have the experience of being lit up, the light of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Page 277, Susan will lead us in the Shalom. to 291. Nichamocha.
Nichamocha ba'elim Adonai, Nichamocha nedar b'kodesh, Torah tehilo, oseh pele, oseh
Continue with the Amidah, starting on page 295. We'll say the first 3 blessings aloud and then have time for our own prayers and meditation. Please rise as you're able.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haTeinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. El Hagadol, HaGibor VaHaNorah, El Elyon, Romeo HaSadim Tovim, V'Tonei Rachel, Uzoker HaSeach Na'minot, U'Mehidim Zalim Ne'enehem, Leman Shemo Yahweh, Melech Hoser Moshiach U'Magid, Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Adonai, Kavel Moshiach, Morin atah, Mechakel Chaim v'chesed, Mechayev Hakol v'rachamim rabim, Zorer noflim v'rofei cholim, U'matzil asurim, U'mekayem emrato, L'shenei afar, Milchamot ha'al geburot, U'mito me'erah, Melech me'mid u'mekayem, U'matzliach Yeshua.
Page 303.
And Shinaka Ishem Shemati Shimoto Ishmei Maro Ahatu Aliyah Niviyah Eka sovereign appear, and reign among us, for we wait for you. Will you reign in Zion? Soon in our lifetime may you come to dwell eternally. May your greatness and your holiness be realized in Jerusalem, your city, from one generation to the next, and throughout all eternities. And may our eyes behold your realm, as has been prophesied in songs about your power. Imloch Adonai le'olam Elohim Tzion, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, nagid God lecha, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, nagid God lecha, u'lenetzach netzachim, u'lenetzach netzachim, keshem sha'at v'achim. L'shivcha v'lemeinu, v'lemeinu lo yamush, lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, nagid God lecha. Le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, nagid God lecha. U'lenetzach netzachim, u'lenetzach netzachim, keshem sha'at v'achim. L'shivcha v'lemeinu, v'lemeinu lo yamush, lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, nagid God lecha. Le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, le'dor v'dor, nagid God lecha. Ki ha'melech gadol v'kadosh ata, gadol v'kadosh ata. Baruch ata Adonai,
Moving now toward the Torah service. We mark the transition between these two parts of the service with Kaddish Titkabah, full Kaddish on page 381. Yitkara v'yitkara shemei Rabba, Yalmad יברח אלוהי וימליך מלכותי בחיי כל ימי בחיי כל בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמיה וברך לעולם ימיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה לעילם עם כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן ביעלמה ויאמרו תתקבל צלות הון ובעלות הון לכל בית ישראל קודם ובהון דבשמיא ויאמרו יהי שלום רבה ונשמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ויאמרו אמן. Page 383. Just letting you know what's coming ahead. Lisa and Richard Isaacson will be coming up to open the market. So you can get it. Ein kamocha ve'elohim Adonai v'yein k'ma'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha le'ol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch ve'olam va'ed Adonai rose ve'elohim te'im Adonai yirarech etamo hashalom Avarachamim etikar yitzchak etzion Tirnei romot Yerushalayim Tirnei romot Yerushalayim Ki becha levatatnu melech elam Yisrael Adonai. Lisa and Richard. Susan.
Please rise.
Shabbat shalom, thank you.
Even so ha'aron v'yomir Moshe Adonai v'yachusu oirecha v'yanusu mitzvamecha v'yamecha ki mitzion te'eseh Torah ki mitzion te'eseh Torah u'Adonai miYerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Ve'amo Yisrael
Page 393.
Shema Yisrael Adonai
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. If you would please be seated. Awesome. My name is Audrey Galix, and I am so honored to serve as Gabbai Rishon for this very, very special Brit Mitzvah. Susan, I think you called me. Come on over. You know, we're trying to figure this out with the Zoom audience as well as everybody here. I think you called me, was it 2 years ago? At Marshall's house? And you approached me about becoming your, the honor of being your Gabbai Rishon. I said, yeah, sure, but something happened, got in the way. So you had a little bit more time to rehearse. But still, this is such a special moment. Do you hear this?
No.
I haven't asked anybody else. Well, believe me, it is a tremendous honor, and I believe I did cry when you asked me. That much of an emotional, wonderful invitation to be part of this. I'm going to say a Shehachianu moment. I mean, this truly is. Shehachianu prayer, of course, is our prayer for Thanksgiving, and it really is a milestone moment, not just for you, but for all of us in your family, your extended circle of friends, and our larger community. So take a deep breath, just like Rabbi Dale asked you earlier. Look at everybody here, imagine everybody out in Zoom land. Oh, and you're on your own, okay. No, I have heard that when you're doing public speaking, to deal with your anxiety, yes, you imagine people in your underwear. Yes. With our telly toga as well. Well, in just a moment, we will hear Susan Lehner chant from the Torah. It is Parshat Emor, which is Leviticus chapter 21.
No, we're actually reading from Naso, the original Parsha. So sorry.
I've got to say, because I'm a little relieved, because I'm telling you, Amor is a pretty tough one.
So sorry for that little
That's okay.
misinformation there.
That is okay. Wow.
When
How
Susan
so?
started preparing 2 years ago, the assigned Parsha was Naso. So we've just kept that Parsha, even though it's not
Wow, wow. Well, that's just what I love about this experience. We'll explore together. Because like I said, go back and read it more. No, and it's interesting because really, the thing there's so many things about that stand out that, Amor does have an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth in it, but I remember you saying something about, you sent me a snippet of your Torah, her reflections on your Torah portion. You mentioned the priestly blessing was in it.
Yes.
So I'm like, I should have asked. I'm like, okay, maybe it's, nothing's perfect. You know what? We are perfect in our imperfections, right? Yeah. Well, bless this moment and bless you for this lovely, delightful surprise. So now I'm going to go back and read it. I have style. It's that special CBH style. So people who are very special in Susan's life are going to be called up to offer blessings for each of the 3 readings, and it's called an aliyah. These are aliyot. It's literally, many of you probably know this. It really literally means to ascend, because I guess in the olden days, we, especially Mount Sinai, we were ascending up into the temple. So nevertheless, no steps here, but watch your step as you come on up. And the Torah blessings can be found in our Sidurim, in our prayer books on page 399. And as a Reconstructionist congregation, the blessings have been modified slightly to de-emphasize the notion of chosenness. Instead, we talk about the Jewish people having been called to God's service. And for those of you who do have an aliyah, please say the blessing in the tradition that is most comfortable for you. We do have laminated copies of both here up at the Bima and the pulpit. And when you see your aliyah coming up, I do invite you to come forward a little bit, perhaps sit in the front row so we can keep the flow going. Okay, and with that, are we ready to begin this wonderful, blessed moment to read Parsha Naso? Okay, I think you probably need to be over there by the Torah. And so we begin. This is on page 399 for the Torah blessings. Let me get to the page here. May God help, protect, and save all who seek refuge in God's shelter, and let us say, Amen. Nalamod, Shmuel ben Lazar, Hava Miriam bat Baruch Avram v'Fega Froma, La'aliyah HaRishona. Please rise, Susan's brother Sheldon and sister-in-law Linda, for the first Aliyah. Baruch Shanatan Torah Li'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato. V'atem hadveikem b'Adonai Elohechem Chaim kolchem hayom.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaBarach. Baruch Adonai Baruch Olam Ba'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher Baruch Harbani Mikol Hamim. Natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen. V'krivato ha'im lifnei Adonai, v'asachatato v'et olato, ve'et ha'ayil yaseh zevach shlamim Adonai, al sal hamatzot, ve'asa ha'kohen, et minchato ve'et nisko, v'gilach hanazir, petach ohel moed et rosh nizro, ve'lakach את שיער ראש נזרו, ונתן על האש אשר תחת זבח השלמים.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, Shalom, Natam, Meinu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Yashikoa. Awesome. Yashikoa.
And before the next Aliyah, I do want to also acknowledge the presence of Effie Biton. She is serving as our Gabbai Sheni today, making sure that we stay on melody with the trope, the ancient melodies, as well as the wording. Thank you so much, Effie, for doing so. Nalamod Yaakov ben Reuven, Laliyah HaShenit. Please rise, Jay Kessler, a dear friend of Susan's, for the second Aliyah. Baruch Shenatan Torah L'Amo Yisrael B'Kedusha Tov.
Well, first, I know him.
Just about, you know. That's good. Amen. ולקח הכהן את זרע בשלה מן העין, וחלת מצה אחת מן הסל ורקיקי מצה אחד, ונתן הכהן תנופה לפני אדוני, קודש הוא לכהן על חזה התנופה ועל שוק התרומה, ואחר ישתה הנזיר יין. זאת תורת הנזיר אשר ידור קורבנו לאדוני על מזרע מלבד אשר תשיג ידו, כפי נדרו אשר ידור כן יעשה על תורת נזרו.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yosan
אשר נתן
along and so they Baruch atah Adonai Nosein HaTorah.
Nalamot, Sarah bat Lazar Belois, La Aliyah Kibrit Mitzvah. Please rise, Susan Judith Berch, child of Leonard and Lois, for the Aliyah marking your Brit Mitzvah. Baruch Shenatan Torah L'Amo
Yisrael b'kedushato. Okay, you wanna take your tubby to the face?
Baruch Adonai Asher Bahar Banu Nicole Anata Anuvet Torto Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Vayita Be'er Adonai Elmo Shei Lei Or Daber El Aharon Baal Banav Lei Or Kotiva Bahu Et B'nai Israel On my agenda here, it says to do the Misha Be'erach, but I have to say it. I think we've got to do the Misha Be'erach for this incredible woman laning the Torah beautifully. And if you will join me on page 414 for the blessing for Brit Mitzvah. So proud. I'm going to change a couple of words though here that I have made some revisions in my siddur here. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May you be our link to future worlds. And may your hope encompass all the generations yet to be. May your heart conceive with understanding. May your mouth speak wisdom. And your tongue be stirred with sounds of joy. And may your gaze be steady and sure. Your eyes be lit with Torah's lamp, as I believe they are. Your face aglow with heaven's radiance. Your lips expressing words of knowledge. And your inner self alive with righteousness. And may you always rush in eagerness to hear the words of one more ancient than all time. Susan Rosenthal. Really? Yes, major yes. And after the third Aliyah, we generally, and are traditionally in our congregation, we offer all of us an opportunity to think of those who are in need of healing, mind, body, spirit. And I'd like to invite all of you to speak out loud the names for whom you'd like to offer prayer or hold within the privacy of your heart, all those also in need of a little healing energy at this time, if you'd like to share those names. And will you lead us in Misha Be'erach for all those in our hearts and minds?
This is a different melody by request. A beautiful melody by Solomon Hoffman called Harofe.
Harofe nishvur elev Umkadesh le'atzvotam Oleh mitzvah lakochavim Lechulam shemot yikra May the light of the stars heal the wounds in our hearts. May the light of the stars heal the wounds in our hearts. star. Feel the moons in our hearts. Feel the moons in our hearts. May the light of the star. May the light of the star. Feel the moons in our hearts. Feel the moons in our hearts.
Amen.
We wish Refuah Shlema, healing and wholeness for all who are ailing.
And now Susan is going to share words from the prophets of Haftarah.
There was a certain man from Zorah of the stock of Dan, whose name was Manoah. His wife was barren and had borne no children. An angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her, "You are barren and have borne no children, but you shall conceive and bear a son. Now be careful not to drink wine or other intoxicant or eat anything unclean. For you are going to conceive and bear a son. Let no razor touch his head, for the boy is to be a Nazarite to God from the womb on. He shall be the first to deliver Israel from the Philistines." The woman went and told her husband, "A man of God came to me. He looked like an angel of God, very frightening. I did not ask him where he was from, nor did he tell me his name. He said to me, 'You are going to conceive and bear a son. Drink no wine or other intoxicant, and eat nothing unclean, for the boy is to be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of his death.' Manoah pleaded with the Eternal. 'Oh, my God,' he said, 'please let the man of God that you sent come to us again, and let him instruct us how to act with the child that is to be born.' God heeded Manoah's plea, and the angel of God came to the woman again. She was sitting in the field, and her husband Manoah was not with her. The woman ran in haste to tell her husband. She said to him, "The man came to me for has just appeared to me." Manoah promptly followed his wife. He came to the man and asked him, "Are you the man who spoke to my wife?" "Yes," he answered. Then Manoah said, "May your words soon come true. What rules shall be observed for the boy?" The angel of the Eternal said to Manoah, "The woman must abstain from all the things against which I warned her. She must not eat anything that comes from the grapevine, or drink wine or other intoxicant, or eat anything unclean. She must observe all that I commanded her." Manoah said to the angel of the Eternal, "Let us detain you and prepare a kid for you." But the angel of the Eternal said to Manoah, If you stay me, I shall not eat your food. And if you present a burnt offering, offer it to the Eternal. For Manoah did not know that he was an angel of the Eternal. So Manoah said to the angel of the Eternal, what is your name? We should like to honor you when the words come true. The angel said to him, you must not ask for my name. It is unknowable. Manoah took the kid and the Eternal. Manoah took the kid and the meal offering and offered them up to the rock of the Eternal. And a marvelous thing happened. While Manoah and his wife looked on, as the flames leaped up from the altar toward the sky, the angel of the Eternal ascended in the flames of the altar, while Manoah and his wife looked on, and they flung themselves on their faces to the ground. The angel of the Eternal, that it had been an angel of the Eternal. And Manoah said to his wife, we shall surely die, for we have seen a divine being. But the wife said to him, had the Eternal meant to take our lives, he would not have accepted a burnt offering, a meal offering from us, nor let us see all these things, and he would not have made such an announcement to us. The woman bore a son, and she named him Samson. The boy grew up, and God blessed him. The Spirit of the Eternal first moved him in the encampment of Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol.
Yashakar. So Susan, I have a blessing for you from Rabbi Josh, who wasn't able to be here with you, but wanted to be represented and wanted to offer his words and his blessing for you. So let me read you Rabbi Josh's words. Susan, Mazel Tov on arriving at this day, at this tremendous occasion. Like everyone else here, I could not be more proud of you. There's a Jewish tradition of reading Eshet Chayil, also known as a woman of valor, from Proverbs, in honor of the special women in our lives. It praises the qualities of extraordinary women, though sometimes in an outdated way. It's not a tradition that I have practiced often for reasons some obvious and some about moving away from the gendered boxes our tradition creates. However, when I encountered an updated version by my friend Juliet Spitzer, the words made me think of you, because you are an extraordinary woman, a woman of valor. Juliet Spitzer begins with these words, a good woman, so hard to find. She is more precious than rubies. Her circle cast with friendship deep, full of love and graceful ease. She is a woman of valor. She opens her hands to the poor. She does not fear the other, extends her heart to those in need, encourages her friends to succeed. She is a woman of valor. That is who you are, Susan, deeply caring and tending to friendships, offering love, support, and guidance. You carry yourself with grace and concern for others. Your heart is tender, and you seek ways to give to others. You are a voice of advocacy for so many causes, including other adults with disabilities. Your work has made it safe, welcoming, and full of joy for so many people. And Susan, you are these things and have navigated the world not just with your own personal challenges, but with the preconceived notions and biases that people sometimes encounter with people with disabilities. In doing so, you are graceful, unstoppable, and always welcoming. You have blazed a trail that has made it easier for so many others. When you told me you wanted to have a bat mitzvah, I knew nothing would prevent it. I just didn't know a pandemic would delay it. May today nourish you and support your Jewish life. Susan, you are an Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. May you be blessed with the kindness, care, and embrace that you show to so many others. May your persistence serve you to achieve all that you dream. And may you continue to find a home here at CBH and in our rich Jewish tradition. Mazel tov. Okay, so we need to lift up and dress this Torah scroll.
Nalamot ha'hadva, please rise, the Torah lifter, David Berch, Susan's brother-in-law. Nalamot ha'hadva, please rise, the Torah dresser, Marshall Berch, Susan's brother. And when the Torah is lifted, if you will all rise, and we will sing the second line on page 407. Mitzvot HaTorah Asher Tzva Moshe Lifnei Yisrael Li Adonai V'Yam Moshe Yai Lai 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 Yai Lai
Love those beautiful harmonies. What we really need is peace. And I'm going to call up Amy Kahn to lead us in a prayer for peace, which is found on page 775. Is that the one you're reading?
Yeah.
Well, hang on one second. And starting in the middle of the page.
Right here.
Yeah.
When the blessing of shalom is lacking, however much we have of other blessings, wealth or power, fame or family, even health, these all appear as nothing. But when shalom is present, however little else we have, somehow seems sufficient.
Yashika. Okay, we're having a wardrobe adjustment with the kippah. Elena, this is a great moment to pass out the candy with which Susan will be ever so gently showered. Ever so gently. It's soft candy and it's meant to represent the sweetness of Torah and the blessing of this moment. Thanks, Brad.
Sure.
I forgot to say, this is really important because you're getting the candy now and Susan's Devar Torah is about to happen. I'm going to ask everybody to put their candy down on the floor so that we don't hear that lovely rustling sound. about anything to come between them and hearing Susan's Devar Torah, because Susan is going to be talking about, as Audrey mentioned, your Katoanim, the priestly blessing that's in her parsha. And I just want to say that Susan has a beautiful take on it. But more than that, Susan, it's so appropriate that this is your parsha because you are a blessing. So please teach us about blessings, and then when she's done, those little noisy things will reappear.
My Torah portion includes the priestly blessing. If I were given someone a blessing, I would tell them that God is looking over them and that they are special inside and out. I would tell them that God loves them. I believe that we are created best Betzel Elohim, that we are created in God's image. The priestly blessing includes a prayer for shalom, peace. This means that God will guide you during challenging times. You don't have to worry because God will make you whole and complete. God makes every person unique. If everyone was the same, it would be boring. My parents taught me to accept people for who they are. If you want to be accepted, you have to accept others. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and when you work at your weaknesses, you can make them strengths. Everybody makes mistakes, but you can learn from mistakes. We are all human. December 17, 2019, I accidentally let my bathtub overflow. It did a lot of damage to my condo, my neighbor below me. I felt upset at first, and I had to call my brother Sheldon to notify him of what had happened. The good thing is that he didn't yell at me. Mistakes happen. I had to temporarily move into that residence inn for nearly 3 months. I felt very appreciative that Sheldon found a nice place for me and my dog Gabby to stay while work was being done in my condo. I learned a very valuable lesson in my mistake, and that was to pay more attention to what I'm doing and not to be myself over this. Things happen in life, and getting angry doesn't solve the issue, and that is true for you too. I have many blessings in my life. I have great health. I'm able to live independently. Even though I lost my father at age 12, I know that he is watching me, over me and my family. I have been working at Jewish family and queer services for nearly 29 years. My buddy Lisa here hired me. I love the people I work with, and I feel appreciative. I am thankful for my loving family, friends, my dog Gabby, everyone at CPH, including my friendship circle, a Jewish social group for adults and kids, and Uniting for Change. I am blessed to have not one but 2 bar mitzvahs. Reading from the Torah makes me feel closer to God. At my first bar mitzvah, I said the Aliyah blessings that I didn't read from the Torah. Now that I'm older, I appreciate the opportunity to read the Torah and chant the hot Torah. The Torah has Jewish laws, and the stories that tell our history. My favorite story is that Torah when the Jews escaped from slavery in Egypt to have a better world and a better life as free people. And all of us want to be free, don't we? Yeah. Moses was the greatest leader of the Jewish people. He also had a speech impediment. He didn't give up, but he did get help from Aaron. I have an intellectual disability, but I don't let that stop me from pursuing my dreams and living life to the fullest. March of 2020, a major pandemic happened. COVID appeared, and over 1 million people were affected and died. It has been a very traumatic time for everyone in the entire world. Everyone had to distance themselves from their family, friends, co-workers, synagogues, churches, weddings, Valor mitzvahs, and other events were either postponed or canceled. Many people weren't able to go to work, including myself. If it weren't for this amazing technology called Zoom, life would have been more complicated. Having Zoom has allowed people to communicate and see each other on their electronic devices. I feel very fortunate because we have a wonderful congregation who planned mindful moments, Shabbat services, Torah study, and minyan. I have the opportunity to lead minyan every other Saturday night, and my buddy Marla and I coordinate it every other Saturday. I wrote an essay about what the pandemic has been like for me. It was very powerful. I love to write stories, essays, and things from my heart. One of my friends asked me if I would like to share my essay with others, and so she submitted it to a Jewish Women's Fund of Atlanta. They chose 51 essays, and mine was one of them. I was ecstatic. The experience of living through COVID while continuing to develop my connections to others in my world has once again taught me the valuable lesson of choosing life and love rather than getting stuck in anger and despair. My heart goes out to the people of Ukraine for all the hardships that they're going through right now. I pray that God will help the violence stop soon and that the Ukrainians will feel the love and care that we are sending their way. And I hope my buddy Michael here, who is from Ukraine, understands. We are sending their way. In closing, I would like to thank everyone for celebrating my Simcha with me today. Because of COVID, the year did not get off to a good start, but with COVID decreasing, I appreciate that I'm able to become a bar mitzvah again with you. Thank you very much to Rabbi Dale, Will, Haley, Greg, Lori, Dan, Rabbi Josh, and Rabbi G, and to everyone else that I left out to make sure that we had what we needed. Thank you, Audrey Galix, for being my Gabbai Rishon, and Effie Baton for being my Gabbai Shani. Thank you to Deborah Lewenstein for being the best tutor and friend ever, and her niece Sarah for making my yarmulke. It is beautiful, and I will treasure that. Thank you to my TBH choir for sharing your voices, bringing joy and light to my Bar Mitzvah ceremony. Yolanda Asher for reading prayer stand up hiding. My greeters, Jackie Sherman and Allison Copes. A very special thank you to Marshall, Sheldon, David, Linda, Lewis, Eileen, Richard, Lisa, and everyone else who is part of my Bar Mitzvah service, and my friend Amy reading the prayer for peace. I couldn't have done it without you. My mom couldn't be here today, but she is here in spirit along with my other friends. I love you, Mom. Shabbat Shalom. Came up here from Connecticut and surprised me.
What a beautiful job teaching the Mitzvah.
Jay was roasting Shabbat dinner last night.
So, Lauren, are you ready to make a presentation to Susan on behalf of the congregation, our esteemed President Lauren Rich? Abby, do we have the present?
What is the present?
I'll tell you what it is. We don't have the present? No. You're gonna get it. This is an eye-opener.
What's the present? Hey dear. Let me tell you something. I am so thrilled as president of CBH to present you with the gift that's not here. I will bring it to your house. I promise, with the Valor. So here we are, 2 years coming out of, for me, feels like not just a worldwide calamity, but I don't know about you, but I hid practically under my dining room table in my house, afraid of COVID. Got up every morning wondering how are we going to live, how am I going to live in the middle of this, how to get joy out of every day, sitting in those little squares, energize myself, and then I get a phone call from Susan Berch. Hey, I don't know you. Let's go to Costco. She's not going to Costco, but I do. She said, have you ever tried the $1.50 hot dogs? I said, no. She said, I'd love to go with you. Her tagline, her email is buddy pal. Okay, her tagline is lover and friend. Dog lover, but lover and friends. She said, hey, let's get to know each other. Then we can go visit my mom. You can watch Gabby. I said, no, I won't. She She says, then let's go to Pikes, there are beautiful plants. I said, I'm not a plant lover. She said, oh, come on, they're beautiful, let's go. She reaches out like that to many of us here in this room, I am sure, and in Minion every night, helping to lead us in blessing, bringing all your inspiring activities, 6,000 Waiting, your podcast, the Center of Leadership and Disability, being a core of JFNCS. You open up all of our eyes to everything one person can do if one is relentlessly persistent and joyous. And you show us the power of one, leading us in this community how to connect, how to be joyous in the face of difficulty, how to do anything, if you put your mind to it. And so it is my honor to wish you a hearty mazel tov on behalf of the congregation, and to thank you for everything you've done for me, to bring me out of this COVID, even in the middle of the calamity, and for all the blessings you've given to our community throughout all of this. You have lifted us all up with your love and your joy and your charm and your warmth and your infectious persistence. We love you.
That's your call.
It is my pleasure to call up Susan's dear friend Cheryl Arno to offer words to her.
Just watch her.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that Dave can see me on Zoom. I promise it's not that many pages, but I had to do it so big so I could see. I'm not going to use my glasses anyway. I'm so honored to be here speaking to you all, and especially Susan. I got a call from our very dear friend Jay Kessler a couple of years ago asking me if I knew anyone in the community that might want to have a bar bat mitzvah. To give you a little bit of background, Jay and I go way back to the start of my career over 30 years ago. He helped one of our friends, Bun Friedman of blessed memory, to have a bar mitzvah long before it was the norm in our community. This many years later, it's still one of the most powerful events that I've supported in our community. So when he called again, I couldn't resist. When Susan called me to tell me that Jay had offered her the opportunity to be a bat mitzvah, even though she already had one, I thought she was the perfect choice. Why did I think that? Because she's Susan Berch. I have known Susan for as long as I've known Jay. I also know that many of you in this room have known Susan for that long or even longer. And what we all know is once you know Susan, she doesn't let go. Once you meet her, you'll be friends with her for life. I first met Susan in one of the basement rooms at the AJCC in the old Midtown location. From the first moment that I met her, I knew she was going to be a leader, and frankly, that she was going to teach me more than I will ever be able to say. She was our first elected president of Very Special People, the social program that I directed at the start of my career. From the start, she led the group to do many things people would never have believed. But what made her even more special is that she really did it for all, not just for herself. My favorite Susan story from back then is, as an advocate, I felt the name Very Special People was very derogatory, and I set out to change it. It was my goal. Well, unbeknownst to me, Susan had a secret meeting with her executive board. It was funny, not so funny then. And they decided to keep the name because it was good to be special, and they embraced that idea. And basically, who was I to say different? Can you hear it? She was also smart enough to add, from the Jewish communal world, she was also smart enough to add that they would change it if somebody wanted to name it the program. I realized then that she was going to be a force.
So back to more recent times, I've been able to watch Susan grow even more as a leader. You all probably don't know that she's very involved with a group called United for Change, a self-advocacy organization. She even got to interview State Senator Sally Harrell, who's made a lot of difference in the disability community, and she did a magnificent job. She continues to be a voice for all. Today when I'm gonna try to Today when I look at Susan as a bat mitzvah, she's really doing it when she should be. She's more confident, more kind, more supportive, and she has more strength and more of a Jewish spirit than most adults I know. She epitomizes what a bat mitzvah should be, but what she does better than anyone is she's taught us all what her parents taught her, to accept people for who they are. If you want to be accepted, you have to accept others. We are all human. Mazel tov, Susan. Your mom will be so proud.
Now it's my turn. Susan, I haven't known you as long as Cheryl, or as many members of this community, and of course, as your dear family, but I see you. From the first moment before I came to CBH, and I saw you online and met you, I knew that you embodied the qualities that today represents in the Jewish calendar. Today is the 28th day of the Omer, the counting between Pesach and Shavuot, between liberation and revelation. And each of these 49 days represents particular spiritual qualities. So this week couldn't be more perfect for you. This is the week of Netzach, which means endurance, perseverance, sustainability. And Lauren talked about you in that way, and Cheryl talked about you in that way. You do not give up. And you are not defined by limits or disability. You're defined by your sheer will. So of course you could learn how to read Torah and lead the prayers. And of course you could teach Torah brilliantly, because you have that quality of netzach, of perseverance and endurance. But today is the quality of Shekhinah within Netzach. Shekhinah is the divine indwelling presence. And you live with consciousness that you are surrounded by God, who is loving and gentle and present. And you then embody that quality with everyone you meet. You are so present. I've never met anybody who's quite so outgoing as you. There is no such thing as a stranger to you. So I just want to lift up and acknowledge the beautiful quality of presence and perseverance and endurance that you exemplify. And I want to offer you the very words that you read from the Torah, the beautiful words of the priestly blessing. You okay with that? Is that okay? Yes. Yivarechet Adonai Ve'yishmerech. May God bless you, Susan, and keep you. Ya'er Adonai Anav Elai Adichunai. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai Anav Elai Vayasem lach shalom. God's presence with you, Susan. Shalom, wholeness, and peace. And we say, let's return the Torah to the Ark. We have Louis and Eileen Berch are going to, Susan's niece and nephew are going to help us with this by opening the Ark. And we're on page 443. Please rise. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai. Right first. Please be seated. The prayer Aleinu looks forward to the day when all will be one, when all will be at peace. Will and Ariella are going to sing the Tisyahu song One Day, which really carries the same sentiment. It's not on a page, you just have to open up and listen and take it in.
One day, sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, and I never let it get me down. But when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day.
It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when we beat up the souls of the innocent, undrenched pavement. Keep on moving while the waters stay raging.
In this maze you can lose your way, and I drive you crazy, but don't let it phase you, no way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down.
the same sun, singing songs of freedom.
A prayer that's very dear to our congregation is the prayer for the end of hiding. There were purple sheets there, but Yolanda Asher is going to explain it, give the kavanah and intention and read the prayer with us for us.
I've got all this candy on the floor. Thank you, Jeff. This is an important prayer in the history of our synagogue, for had it not been needed, CBH would probably not have come into existence. And it's this prayer that solidified my desire to join Congregation Bet Haverim, made me feel welcome. And so I'm just so honored that you've asked me to read this. While most of our liturgy reflects the diversity and inclusivity of our community, this prayer connects us as nothing else can to the richness of our past and reminds us that in today's climate, we have not yet reached Eden. It is hard to know what to change and what to retain, but we do the best we can in balancing the needs of the present and the future with the integrity of the past. And it is a courageous thing to put ego aside and pray for the end of another's oppression. So, to the degree that we each feel comfortable, let us join our voices together in reciting the prayer for the end of hiding. As LGBTQ Jews, we are aware of the loss of integrity we suffer due to pressures of our society. We often feel forced into a dishonest presentation of ourselves, to ourselves and others. The LGBTQ individuals who feel they must pretend to be something that they are not. The Jews who feel they must be alienated from their tradition and community to win larger acceptance are all victims of the theft of identity and integrity committed by bisexual, gender-identifying, or religious majority. Creator of the universe, we ask that our hiding draw to an end, that we no longer feel we have to pretend, to promise falsely, to renounce ourselves, and that our fullest creative expression as Jews, lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual, queer people, be among the blessings you bestow upon us. Amen. That should go.
We turn to page 451. We say Mourner's Kaddish to hallow the memories of those who've died recently within the past months or year and those whose birth sites are observed at this time. If you are saying Kaddish, please rise and feel free to tell us the name of the person for whom you're saying Kaddish.
Already gave us. Shirley Schoolspear, Melvin Regal. Jim Monahan.
And it's our custom that the mourners stand first and say the beginning of the prayer, and after the first paragraph, the rest of us join in solidarity with them. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemein rabah. V'yalma divrach utei, yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei techo beit Yisrael. V'adalah v'zman kariv v'yibru. Yehei shemei rabah Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbahar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei v'yishal v'yiru. Le'elam mikol birkata v'shirata. Tushirata v'yamata. K'amiram yamam v'yiru. Amen. Yehei shalom rabba v'shemaya v'chayim v'yiru Yisrael v'yiru. Amen. Oseh shalom v'yirumav. U'yaraseh shalom. May God who heals the brokenhearted send comfort to all who mourn, and we say, Amen. Please be seated. So in addition to all of the thank yous that have been said, I want to add my appreciation to the chorus and to Will for amazing, beautiful, gorgeous, soulful singing that added so much to the service. To Abby Garcia, who's our wonderful tech genius and to Rick Stone, I don't know if he's still here, who's part of the tech team of volunteers who are gradually coming into great competence and taking important roles and making it possible for us to truly be a multi-access community. I want to thank Audrey for being a resilient and creative Gabbai Risha, and Effie for being Gabbai Sheni, and I actually benefited from Effie's guidance. There's going to be Kiddush and Motzi outside. Is that right, Abby? Yes. But before that, we shall sing Adon Olam, page 459. Everybody okay? Is that the right page? Yes. That's always good. Okay, yes.
Yeah, How did they know I threw it?
Oh, yeah, that's mine. That's Susan's bag. I'm gonna have one more, I'm hungry. I didn't mean to do it.
And that's how you turn them off.
That flavor didn't taste good.
Are we heading out?
Richard keeps asking.
My book back. I told my brother that he was famous in the world. I said, I always said that. I do.
Standing up there like,
Gotta make it appearance.
They see me, they say, well, that's what you said. Every time.
I'll walk that way. And so, just like below, it's like, ask me if I'm here. It's in hook. What? Yep. Here's my horse.
Mommy, you're not so much. I didn't get an invitation.
Honey, I didn't hold that one. Because everybody wanted to see it happen.
Cheryl said you're very
All right.
Yes.
Well, there you are.
Oh, yeah.
ran out of time.
Y'all look so different behind I guess hopefully I go off overseas. I guess I'm gonna have to isolate myself. We're in Italy. At the end of June.
Okay. On a cruise or?
No, it's, with, the tour companies I used to take all the time till I, had my back accident in 2013. Never traveled this far. But I would definitely be careful. I won't be making any major deals. I knew I was starting to have balance problems in the early 2000s. Yeah. I guess I didn't work out bad. Congratulations, sir. Yeah. Well, let's
Nice. Do you make it clear? Do you get clear? Well, I know that. Yeah, I'm ready for something. Yeah. Right, yes. Although you're oh, right. Just one thing we're going to say. You get an apartment.
It's Saturday, you're calling them out, and they charge money. I couldn't say what but I don't.
No. No, I appreciate it. If it were to yeah. No. Yeah. 2 years ago or 2 years from now. I mean, what know it's good. Well, I'm a full-time musician. I'm this year. That's right.
She's out there.
No, I'm actually